In the previous sessions, we have seen algorithm of scheduling the processes FCFS and the different order FCFS. Then we have seen shortest job first algorithm of process scheduling compared with a continuation of that is shortest remaining time first algorithm. So after that we have seen priority based scheduling. Okay, so in which based upon the priorities resources are allocated with the processes are allocated with the resources and their execution is carried out. So finally we end up with one of the important algorithm round robin, in which there will be a equal time slice, time quantum will be given, and all processes should come in order and they should get execution done. Okay, so now this all is whatever we have studied is when all the jobs are in single queue. That means one job queue, multiple works. What if there are multiple queues itself? So there are two queues. If assumption two queues are there and each queue has 4 process each. Okay, so how to solve them? So that is a concept of multi-level queue. So generally what happens whenever it's a multi-level queue, let's show the conceptual diagram. See here. Okay, this is what order of the this is how we look. Now whenever it is a multi-level queue, generally it divides into foreground process, it will be 1, and remaining all background process. Let me give you example here. There are 5 different queues. So first one is system process, interactive process set, again interactive editing process set, batch process set, and student process set. So here you can see very important word, high priority and low priority. So one important thing is, unless we finish most of the system processes who have highest priority, we cannot give resources for student process set who have least priority. So which process is presently executing with their own priority, so that process queue become foreground process queue. So earlier what we studied, process foreground process and background process. Okay, now it is foreground process queue and background process queue. Okay, so generally foreground processes are executed using round robin and background process set or queue is executed using FCFS algorithm. You can see here. So assumption, if there is a 2 process, 3 process, 1, 2, 3. So then what happens? These all 2 are highest priority. So unless you finish a system process, you cannot go for interactive process. Unless you finish interactive process, you cannot go for interactive editing process. Like that, based upon the priority keeps changing. So most of the time system process will work foreground and remaining all will be moving background. Whenever some signal interrupt occurs for any process of other queue, they come as a forward or a foreground process, and the process which was earlier in the foreground moves back to the background process queue. Okay, so now whenever we have a multi-level of a processing, we should have a feedback. Why it is important to have a feedback is, see here, let's assumption of one case. So system process set is under execution. Suddenly interactive process will come with some interrupt. Okay, interactive process set, in that one process will come with the interrupt. So definitely we have to solve interrupt first. Okay, so what is the option at that time is, so we have to give feedback. Okay, how to give a feedback here, let me show. For interactive process set which is about to execute, we have to give information for the system process that since there is one process with the interrupt has occurred, we are pausing this system process and executing the interactive process with the interrupt. So definitely what happens, so this interactive process with interrupt will get resources and it will be executed. Once that is executed, again give the information related to system process who was there earlier, so that it can continue. So what are the informations will be stored as a queue managing? So it will be number of queues, how many number of queues, maximum it is 5. Okay, so scheduling algorithms of each queue, whether this one here system process uses which algorithm, interactive process uses which algorithm, like that. Every process may use different algorithm, so which process it is using, that will be displayed here. So along with the scheduling algorithm used for each, we also maintain some other informations like what is the upgradation process. That means why you are selecting interactive process even though system process has highest priority because of interrupt, such like that. We are going to maintain why you have upgraded the process queue or process list. Why to demotivate the earlier? See, simple way, system is executing, interactive process will come. That means what we have to do, we have to demote this system, upgrade this interactive system, means interactive process. So these all things we have to maintain in a proper order, proper document, or we have to give the feedback like this. Okay, so next, some example how it works. See, there are three different job queues, means work queues. So what happens, first work is executing in a round robin. You can see now why round robin is, because I can see the word called quantum. Even though second is also round robin, because I can see the word called quantum, time quantum. So third is FCFS. So what happens, some of the works, okay, so you can take the help of this round robin algorithm. You can see here P1, then P1 is not yet completed. By this time it will complete. What about P2 and P3? I think you can see P2 and P3, they will finish before P1 completes. What we can assume here is, in this, so if if we load P1, P2, P3, what happens, P1 waits, then P2 finishes, so it will go out. P3 also finishes, so it will go out. Like that, some process who will finish, they will go out. Some process who are not yet completed, they may enter into the next level. So again, in the next level, if they finish, they will go out. If not finished, again they are forwarded for the third job queue or feedback queue. Finally, they have to get out after execution, okay, based upon the time allocated for such a processes. Okay, so can we have always only the process level scheduling, or is it possible to schedule process in micro levels? Yes, it is possible. It is called as thread scheduling. Okay, so whenever we go for a thread scheduling, there will be a important lightweight process. Thread is called as lightweight process. So if we maintain scheduling properly of threads, definitely it gives us best efficiency or best outcome. So because of that thread scheduling, processes also scheduled. Very simple way. What we can I would like to give example is, see, at the end of engineering semesters are well scheduled, like semester 1, semester 2, semester 3 up to semester 8. Okay, that you can think it as scheduling in a broader view. So how each semester is scheduled? Every semester has timetable with respect to subject, timetable with respect to internals, timetable for IA, like that. Every day it is a well planned. Because of every day it's a well planned, then only we can see best result of ending a semester with completion of subject or completion of syllabus from all the subjects. Like that, if we have micro level scheduling properly, then work will be done successful. Okay, so that finishes our chapter 5. So I am going to continue in the same presentation the chapter 6, which is one more important question you can expect from it out of 4 to 5 important topics. Okay, so I will load that. Okay, so in the same module 2, we have the last chapter is process synchronization. Slight technical or the little difficult than the earlier 2 chapters of this module. Okay, what we are going to study, see, this chapter is only 20-25 pages, but everything is slight difficult. Okay, so maybe you are studying since online, sometimes it's difficult for me to convey. So anyway, I will try my level best to convince you regarding the concepts. Okay, so here we are going to study all this topic. Okay, so let's start the first critical section problem. So now, why we should first concentrate on critical section? Very simple way. Always there will be not only one process, there will be multiple process. Okay, n number of processes, and all n number of process, 99% they use to share the resources. There won't be any resource, okay, exclusively given for a particular resource. Very simple similarity if I would like to give you is, in every college there is a library for student. Okay, so how many students we have, we cannot, no college will have same number of textbooks. Okay, into 6, each student 6 textbook, so that is not possible to have in a library. So what is the option? Processes should synchronize properly, means library should take care such that the student, whatever the student will request, it should be available on time. If not, at least reserve for him, and you can get it. So like that way, critical section means something which is shared. Okay, something which is shared. So first thing, when one process is using it or modifying it, no other process allowed to do. If you took a library textbook number 1 of operating system, no other process is allowed to take it unless you only give back or its time finishes. Say you took a library textbook of operating system whose book number is 1000 on 1st May. So then what happens? Your due date is 15th May, you have to give it back. If you don't give, there will be a fine or some punishment. So in same way, when you took a textbook, it is not allowed for any other process to take, any other student to take same textbook with 1000 OS and a textbook number 1000. If there is a one more textbook with 1001, 1002 number, he can take where there is a author is same, but same textbook, same subject is not allowed. So now, why this is called as a problem? Why not it is called as some scenario is, see, whenever there are multiple processes executing, definitely they may try to make a competition, means fighting with each other to get that resource. Very simple. If there are 10 books and 50 students, what every student will do? They will try to get the textbook as soon as possible. So they do visit the library whenever they get a time, and if possible they may give the reservation list also. So if the textbook is available, directly anybody can get it from the library, like that. So what happens here? So since resources are lesser and processes are more, hence resources should be shared. If resources are shared among multiple processes, we should be very careful that whenever a process is using, no other process is allowed to get it or use it. So what is the solution for this problem? So solution is, make all the processes friend with each other. So what do you mean by friend? It's called as cooperate the processes among themselves. If you are a friend, you all are a friend, what you do? So some student will come and they will take OS, another group will come, they will take ARM subject, etc, etc. Once the date comes, you may exchange among yourself only. So that's kind of good cooperation. So is it possible in computer also? No, not at all it is possible. So why it is not possible? So some process thinks at, okay, I want it today only, I want by tomorrow only, I don't want it on Thursday, I mean some other day, like that they will put a restriction. Okay, so as the restriction if we consider restriction from all the process, it will be very difficult for OS to give the resource and get back the resource. Okay, so also there will be a conflict. Why? If two process want on same day, whom to give or whom to allocate, it's a difficult. Such a situation is called as critical section problem. I hope you understood this problem now. So let's go for different solutions given by the different research person. Okay, before we could go for a critical, the problem explanation, let's go in detail what you mean by critical section. So critical section means, here if you take one do while loop, here if you take one do while loop, what it will have? Okay, do keyword, flower bracket, then we will have entry section, at the end we will have exit section, after this we will have a condition check. Okay, so between entry and exit, whatever is there is called as a critical section. Okay, so what do you mean by entry section? Listen to the definition. Process need to ask permission. Process need to ask permission. Exit section, simply you exit. Okay, sometimes what happens, simple exit is not allowed. So then what is the option we have is check some condition, then exit. If condition is pass, exit is allowed. If condition is doesn't match, then it is not allowed to go for the exit. Okay, so now here, leaving these two section, whatever is remaining, that is called as a critical section. So here is a critical section. You can think like a printf, hello, printf statement is a critical section. Like that you can imagine, just imagination. So we will come to know whatever is exactly entry section, exit section and remainder section in the future slides. Okay, so I repeat, entry section where we need to ask a permission. Okay, exit section where program exits. Sometimes with condition check it has to exit, sometimes without condition check it has to exit. So apart from entry and exit, whatever is remaining is called as a remainder section. Okay, okay, now you can see I value is 0, there is a program. Okay, there is a do section, this is a here. Okay, so you can see this, it will print the hello till I is less than 5. Here I less than 5 is a condition check. If there is a condition in the, sorry, I forgot to put this. So if there is a condition check here, what you could say is this part, condition check exit, condition check exit. Okay, next here. So what is a condition check for this? Okay, I can do this for better understanding. If I place here, hope you can understand a little more. Okay, this is a entry condition, this is the reminder section, this is exit status. Okay, I hope you understood now what you mean by entry, exit and reminder section. Okay, so now there was the solution mentioned. What is the solution mentioned is make all friend. So how to make them friend? It is to tell that okay, you all cooperate among yourself, so don't come up with a difficult situation. So how to make them? What is the minimum condition to make all the solutions, sorry, all the processes with each other is, see, there should be some understanding. Mutual section exclusion. What do you mean by mutual exclusion? If one process is presently executing, no other process is allowed to enter. See now, if you take a textbook number 1000, okay, so you will put a message in the group, I took this textbook, please do not make any request or please do not make any reservation on this. So if, since all are your friends, nobody will come and they will question about your expectation. So if any person who doesn't want to keep the textbook with you, definitely he will come and he will make a reservation for that book only. So that becomes competition. Okay, so then library person has to make one thing, that somebody is expecting the book, so he may call you and tell you to give back the textbook because it's a date or some other person is requested. So what is another option you have? Whoever requested, tell him not to request, instead you only give him for 1 or 2 days, after he prepare then you collect it back. Here what is a mutual exclusion? Both are understanding. Okay, and also there is one rule, if you took, other person should not go for reservation, and also you should be ready for that. If he take the textbook, another person should not go for the reservation. Okay, so hope it is clear now. Next one is progress. So what do you mean by progress? Here, if one process is already executing in the critical section and another process wants to enter into that critical section, means he also want the same resource, then allocate him and give him some time. Okay, give when he may get a resource. Once you give that time, be strict on that time, do not postpone after that. What happens if you postpone? So that person whoever has done requested, today he has left for you textbook, okay, expecting that you may give it on the some other day. So that day will come. If you postpone again, so definitely he will go through with a normal channel, that he will go to library and get the textbook from you, and he will take it. If you both are friends, what you can do is, he will come and ask you, okay, then what happens, you will give him some time, okay, like after 2 days I will give you the textbook. So after that you should not postpone, because he has compromised for 2 days, so you also should able to give him on time. So next one is bounded waiting. So bounded waiting means how many number of times other process should wait, or other process is allowed to take a textbook. So how much time you are giving. See, you have a textbook, some person will come and ask you, so you are going to give some time. So that time, should it be limited or infinite, like the textbook whatever you are having, when he asks, you are going to tell like after 2 days I will give, after 3 days we will give. So means that is a limitation. You cannot say after the 100 day, after 1 year I will give, or after 2 years I will give. You cannot say that, because it's unlimited. Okay, so semester itself is hardly 4 months. You cannot keep the textbook for more than 4 months, like that concept. There should be bounded waiting. He cannot keep himself wait for 8 months, 6 months, 1 year, etc. So he should get the resource on time. Okay, so how the different operating system handle this is, so some operating system uses preemptive, some operating system uses non-preemptive. So what do you mean by preemptive? Resource is given for someone and new person will come. Okay, if you stop the earlier process and give the resource to newly arrived process, it is called as preemptive. Case non-preemptive, you won't give the resource to any other. Very simple way, you are watching TV and remote is with you. Okay, so if your father comes to same place, you have to give the resource, remote to your father. So that means preempted. If you are watching TV and your younger brother comes or younger sister comes, so what it becomes? Non-preemptive. So why? Because you are not going to give. So remote will be with you only. There is no disturbance. That is called as non-preemptive. So some operating system uses preemptive, some operating system uses non-preemptive methods to handle that. Okay. So now comes slight difficult portion, is how to handle such a situation. Okay, so if there are two or more than two processes and there is a common resource, and that resource is to be shared by the process, so which process should enter, which process should not enter, when we should get a resource, when first person should make resource free, everything is complex operation. So one of the solution is Peterson's solution. This Peterson's problem is technically little difficult. So we'll try to analyze as many as possible. Okay, we'll make it simple to understand at least. Okay, now it's one of the best algorithmic description for solving critical section problem. Okay, so and it is applicable for when there are only two processes, not applicable for, let me say, not good for 3 and more than 3 number of processes. So that means what here? So if your friend and you, only two are the fellows requesting for a textbook, then Peterson method will work. If 3 students are fighting for, or means not a fighting, if 3 students are competing for getting the textbook, then this solution is not applicable. So please remember this. It is applicable for 2 solutions. 2 processes at a time. Okay. Okay. So now, it is also best suitable for program which has load and store type of instructions. If it is a load and store type, I hope you know in ARM subject you are going to study load and store instructions. So that means it's a machine level language programming. In ARM program it is going to be used, this Peterson solution. Okay, so how it works? So Peterson solution provides, okay, a best solution for the critical section problem, in which two processes alternatively executes between one common critical section. Okay, so if we assume two processes as P0 and P1, if we assume P0 and P1 as a two processes, if P0 is executing, P1 should wait. I repeat, if P0 is executing, P1 should wait. If P1 is executing, P0 should wait, because they are mutual exclusive. Both cannot happen at a time. Both P0 and P1 should not execute. But is it allowed? P0 and P1 not execution? Yes, it is allowed. So let me type that word, okay, here with a note. P0 and P1, okay, both are not allowed to execute at a time. Execute at a time. So only P0 allowed? Yes, only P0 allowed. Okay, so next comes, is only P1 allowed? Yes, allowed. Okay, next is what? Only P1. Is only P1 allowed? Yes, it's also allowed. Okay, P0 and P1 not allowed. So this is, yes, this is also case. Last case I will type, hope you will understand here. P0 and P1 allowed. So for this I will write no. Why? I hope you can understand slightly. Here is the points which I wanted to explain little. Okay, so now you see, only P1 is allowed. Yes, it is allowed. Only P0 allowed. Yes, P0 and P1 both are not allowed, means no execution. That is also case. But P1 execution is allowed, P0 execution also allowed. This case is not present. That is meaning of this statement. Very simple way. Both cannot execute. Anyone can execute. Both execution not allowed. That's what the meaning is. So now for this to implement, we are using two data structures. One is a turn, another one is a flag. Flag is of 2 bits. Okay, so you can see here flag is of 2 bits. So there the 2 bits are, one is 0 and one is 1. So if it is a 0, resource RESOUR here, resource under usage, okay, so that is called as 1. Okay, next is what? 0. So that means what here? Resource not under usage. That is shown by 0. Okay, those are the 2 bits. Turn is a single variable. Which mentions whose turn is next. Okay, whose turn is next. So I will delete this portion. So these are the two assumptions: whose turn is next and whether resource is usage, presently using or not using. Okay, I think you can see here whose turn is next to enter the critical section. Flag is of 2 bits, true or false. So for whom it is true, that process is using. For whom it is 0, that process is not using. So you can mention here as true and false. Okay, so now there is one algorithm. Please remember, you have to write algorithm in the examination also. Now you see, let's assume there is one critical section. Okay, 1 second. Okay, so assumption, there are two processes. One is pi, here I will write. First process is pi and second process is pj. Okay, now this algorithm, please remember this is for I only. Okay, so now with respect to I am explaining. Whether flag of I is true. What do you mean by true? Here, flag of true. Resource is under usage. So resource is already used. Okay. If see A here, let me give you. A means, here I will type. Okay, here I will type something. So I think you can analyze it. YOU, yourself, and P of J means your friend. Okay, so I will take the same and I will try to explain in the next slide. Hope it will make you little clear. So now how you solve this problem, because I am explaining algorithm with you as a reference. Okay, now, so are you using the textbook? Yes. If presently you are using, okay, whose turn is next? Okay, see here. So let me type something here, I, and here I will type it as J. So I is yourself, J is your friend. Are you using the resource? Yes. So definitely next will be your friend turn. Okay, up to what your friend is not allowed. Up to what your friend is not allowed means up to what you want to have a textbook. Okay, until textbook is hand over by your friend, also turn is of your friend, till that you will have the textbook. Okay, so next what happens when you have to give the textbook for your friend? When you have to give the textbook for your friend is when your time finishes. When your time finishes means what? Flag is flag of yourself is false. That means what? See, I would like to give you example with day basis. So Monday you brought a textbook Monday and Tuesday you will read. You wanted to give it to your friend on Wednesday. This is a small assumption. So it's a Monday. So you will maintain. Monday you will maintain. So who is going to have next on Monday also? Your friend, because book is with you, he has to wait. Turn means wait. Okay. So next Tuesday again it is with you, right? So who is waiting? Turn means who's waiting? Who has to wait? Your friend has to wait. Okay. Now up to what he has to wait? That's a question. Up to what he has to wait? Unless Wednesday. Okay, I mean, hope you understood why it is Wednesday I am mentioning, because definitely Wednesday he is going to get the textbook up to Wednesday, and also his turn should match on that day. If his turn is not matching on that day, so then he cannot get the textbook. That's why we have and here. If we have or, what happens? He may try to get the textbook on Tuesday itself, because Tuesday is not allowed. First thing, it should be Wednesday. Second thing, on that day it should be his turn, then only he will get it. Okay, so once you give him, what becomes for your flag? Flag becomes false. So now let's go for what you mean by flag 0. If flag is false, resource is not under usage, because it's a Wednesday, you have given textbook to your friend. So what happens? Okay, now you listen carefully. So what all the changes I should do if I write for J? If I write for J here, P of J, first thing, flag of J true. What it indicates? On Wednesday your friend has a textbook. So Wednesday, Thursday he has to read. Okay, next thing, who is waiting on Wednesday for the textbook? You are waiting, because Monday, Tuesday your work is done. Wednesday, Thursday he has to do the work. So your turn is waiting. Correct? So waiting becomes I, because you. Next, up to what you have to wait? Up to, it's a I think Friday, because Wednesday, Thursday his turn. Up to Friday. Also you should wait Wednesday and Thursday. If you don't wait, definitely resource will not be given. If you don't wait, so this algorithm doesn't work. What happens if this algorithm doesn't work? You have to give the book to library. Library person will allocate the textbook. Okay, but one assumption I told initially, that for this Peterson algorithm there are only two processes. That means this textbook will be definitely between either you or your friend. There is no other person. So that means what here? Either J will be using or I will be using. So don't imagine there is one library to solve your dispute. Okay, among yourself you have to solve. So now what happens? Unless it's a Friday, and also you have waited for 2 days, you should wait, then only you will get. If you don't wait, there will be a quarrel. Okay, nobody will get a resource. Even though he has friend, your friend has a textbook, because of quarrel he cannot write assignment or he cannot study. So next, after, once it is a Friday, what happens for him? For him it becomes false. Why it becomes false? Because Wednesday, Thursday he has referred. So on Friday make him false. What if you make him flag false? Definitely textbook is with I, that means you. So this is how it works. I hope it is clear now. So please, we have to write this algorithm. Don't write the example whatever I have given. Try to give the example explanation like this. If process 1 is holding a resource, it means process 2 has to wait. Okay, process 1 is holding a resource, process 2 has to wait. Unless process 1 completes its process 1 flag, process 2 flag rises, and also process 2 has waited successfully. Very simple. You have a textbook, it is a day to give him, that means Wednesday, and also he should wait sufficient time, because agreement is for every book 2 days each, means book 2 days each a person. So he has to wait for 2 days, and that should be third day, then only he will get a textbook. Same way. So when he has got the flag and also he has waited for sufficient time, then it is allowed for him to take. Otherwise, see, if he comes to get a textbook on Tuesday, what it will become? First thing, it is not his date, because it is not a Wednesday. Second thing, he has not waited for 2 days. So definitely what happens? He is not allowed to take a textbook. If he is not allowed to take a textbook, who is allowed to use the textbook? That's a critical section. So if this case fails, because he has not waited for 2 days, so who is allowed? Allowed person is first person, that means you. If it's a Wednesday and also he has waited for 2 days, then who will enter that? Your friend will enter the critical section, and you are going to lose that, because two good cases. What is? One is Wednesday, second thing, he has waited for 2 full days. So this is how to analyze the Peterson's algorithm or solution. Okay, so here Peterson solution completes 3 basic points. What are the 3 basic points? Here I have mentioned. Is it mutual exclusion? Yes. How? The 2 processes, what I have told, you and your friend. Okay, there is no third person. You and your friend has followed algorithm correctly. Every 2 days, for the 2 days you have kept. Every third day you have exchanged. Again he has maintained textbook for 2 days, and he has given you back after his 2 days tenure. Like that, you both are well friends, good friends. So you both cooperated well. So process, you both students studied well. So second, is it a progressive? When he was holding a textbook, you have not kept calling him and disturbing him. So let him to study. and when he is, I mean, you are having a textbook, he has not called you and not disturbed you, he let you to study. So now, is there a limit of 2 days only, or there is a no limit? If you have a textbook, it is like till the end of semester. If he has a textbook, he will also maintain it for end of the semester. That's not possible. Okay, so that is a, you have not followed. I mean, you made very well adjustment with each other. So one more thing is, once you told that every, I mean, we both are going to exchange after every 2 days, you have not postponed any of the time. You have not postponed any of the time. You were stick on to the time. Okay, so no postponement. So if there is no postponement, all the solutions of a critical section has been solved. Hence, Peterson algorithm is perfect. Okay, next comes second solution. I mean, first is a problem that's called a synchronization. I'm sorry, critical section problem. One solution is Peterson solution. Second solution is synchronization of the hardware. So now this is like beyond the previous algorithm. Okay, we'll try to understand this. So what you mean by synchronization and hardware? So I hope you can see by looking the word hardware, there is something called, which is a, we can touch and feel. We can touch and feel. So synchronization means what? Both should happen with respect to time. There should be something called time. Based upon time, there should be some activities. Okay, so this we can do with the help of atomic operations called as locking. So here is the algorithm for critical section problem using locks. Okay, simple, imagine there is one room and one key, only one key is there, and two friends are using it. One condition, if one person is in the room, another person is not allowed to enter the room. That's one algorithm. Okay, or even you can simply think like this also. Computer is there in a family, two brothers are using. Okay, so only one keyboard, one monitor, one mouse, etc. Okay, so if one person is doing his work or study, another person should not make it, I mean, he should not disturb. That's a solution. Okay, now and one more thing for with respect to this is, we can think more processes also. There is no limitation that only two brothers are there. So if there are multiple friends, multiple brothers, then also we can try to have the solution for this. Now, very simple way. Whoever you want to execute, apply the lock. Okay, apply the lock. Unless that person releases the lock, okay, so rest all people has to wait. That's it. Unless that person who has applied the lock, remaining all people should wait. So once he lock, he will use the all computer data like internet, then CPU, monitor, printer, etc. So once he finishes his work, he will release the lock. So once he releases the lock, he will quit or he will go out. So then whoever is in the queue, he can come, apply the lock, use the resource, go for it. So this way, how I can, how better I can explain is, I think ATM will be the best example. So what happens? We all are standing outside the ATM center. So door is open now. First I will enter. I mean, first person will enter. He will closes the door. So what about remaining all? They have to wait. So what he will do? If he closes the door, it is understood that he has full authority to use it. So once he is using, he has inserted a card, he is about to withdraw. Is it allowed for any other process to come in and continue the work? No, it is not allowed. So unless when it is not allowed, first person has to come out, then only second person is allowed to enter. Same way, when first person will come, it is understood that he has released the lock. So then what happens? He will go out. So then second person will enter. When second person enters, is it allowed for first person to come back? No. Is it allowed for third or fifth or 10th or some other person to enter in? No. So that means what? He has applied the lock. He is only using it. So then once his work is done, he will release the lock, he will go out. So this is what one of the method. Okay, so this is very simple, you can say this. And now question, how, when, in which all the cases this is applicable is, it is not only for two processes, for any number of processes this will be the correct. But what are the problems we will get with this one hardware synchronization is here, when one process is quit, I mean he exit, another process is about to enter. Between that, if someone comes, there is no algorithm, there is no simplification. Very simple way, what happens, two people are standing in the queue, one person is standing not in the queue. Okay, he wanted to rush into the ATM center. So if one person is already inside the ATM center, just imagine. So first person will come, second person is about to enter. That time this fellow who is not in the queue, he will rush into the ATM. So such a situation is not possible to solve using this hardware synchronization. So actually what hardware should do? Hardware should allow only for the person who will come in the queue. Okay, otherwise it is not possible to do. But ATM will never bother about it. But same thing is different in bank. See the case, I will explain. So what happens, as soon as we enter a bank, computer will give us a token 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, so counter 1 will call first person, counter 2 will call second person. Okay, come back for a special counter called cash withdrawal. So 10 people are waiting, whose token number is 10 20 50 80 100, like this. Okay, there is a person called 100, there is a person whose token number is 100. Now counter has called for a person with a token 40. Okay, 40 has been given a draw. Now whose next turn is 50, token number 50. But suddenly if 100th token and try to enter, it will not work, because what, only it is based upon token number. So definitely resource, I mean work cannot be done by that process or counter person. So this is how we can generate the, I mean we can solve the problem. This is applicable in modern days, but when the old days, only method was, it was letting allow, I mean letting the fellow who was not in the queue to enter into. But when token system is generated, then no other process can destroy the discipline or go beyond the disciplined rules. Okay. Okay, so there is one set of instruction here. Okay, so here is the one in which I would like to explain the same banking or the ATM with help of predefined this one hardware synchronization algorithm. So what happens, there is one function called test and set. So test and set, check his token. If token you have called and what he has brought is correct, give him a service. If token what you have called for token number 50 and what he has submitted is 100, so called token and shown token are not matching, so don't give the service. Okay, if token match what you have called and what he has submitted is matching, then you can go for providing the service. Okay, so that's one example. So how to do the test and how to give him the work. So first you take the test, you do the test. If test is correct, if test result is correct, you have called a token number 50 and you correct person has come, then counter is temporarily closed for any other token up to 1 minute or 2 minutes, because whatever the token number you have called and the person both are correct. So unless you finish his work, do not allow any other person to come. So what you mean by that? You tested the token, you have confirmed that he is correct. So once he is correct, the counter is locked. Locked doesn't mean permanent lock. It is for 1 minute or 2 minutes. So what you will do? You will allow him to do all the request. I mean, you will give him all the requests like cash withdrawal, cash deposit, this, that, etc. So once his work is done, do not forget to make it false. Why we should not make it false? if we don't make it false, if we keep this as a true, that means even after he went, that person went, still you are calling same token number 50 50 50 like that. If you make it false, what does it means is for 50 false, it means for anybody else it is going to be true. I hope you understood. For 50 it is false because his work is over. For anybody else it is open, it should be true. Okay, so for that reason you should not forget making resource as false because his work is done. If you maintain this as a true, that means even after his work is done, simply you are wasting the time. I hope it is clear now. Okay, so now if you come to know, if you are about to compare tokens, you have called 50 and some person has come now, some person has come with 100 token number. So now you compare, do not allocate him, instead you should find token number 50 person and give him. So how that will work? See, value what you have called and what you are expected. Okay, you have called is 50, your expectation is 50 but arrived is 100. I repeat, you have called 50, you are expecting 50 but arrived is 100. So that time what we should not do, is value and expected same, whatever you have called and expected same. If yes, okay, next condition. So look into the some special case, what happens, the new person whatever he has brought, I mean his token number is 100 but it's some old citizen, senior citizen who is about 85 to 90. You are calling 50 but the very old person whose token number is 100 has come. So what that bank counter person will do? Bank counter person, by looking into his age, will he changes his called token with whatever that senior citizen has brought? Yes or no? Yes or no? See what happened here. You are not interested to swap, but looking into his condition that he is a senior citizen, what you do, let him come with his token number. So that time what happened, even though your called is 50 but because of his situation you adjust yourself that you will give him the service. So that time if you, what happens for 100, let me type something here. Okay, here for token 50 and what happens for token 100. For token 100 it's a true because you are working on him, because you are giving him the service. For 50 it is a false. Okay, next after this what happened, because you did a swap here. Why you did a swap? Because he is a senior citizen, 50 token number is a younger boy. So younger boy can wait for 5 minutes, but senior citizen, he has to get the work done little fast. So what the bank person will do, he will make his call overwrite, and whatever is that senior citizen number, his service is provided. So up to what time this case maintained? So for 50 it is false, that means he is in the wait state, whereas for token number he is under execution. So what happens at end? That means this fellow execution, that senior citizen execution is completed, remove it, and then later don't forget to make it true, because next time this person has to get a service who has given chance to that senior citizen. So what that counter person has did, he has tested, compared, and he has swapped. Why? Because he is a senior citizen. Okay, I hope it is clear now with the scenario. Okay, so now what next? Okay, so after the swap, how you managed? Okay, how you managed? So whatever is that counter, we should lock. I told you here, no? Here in this slide. So I hope here I mentioned lock. So once that person comes correctly, you are about to give his service. So during this service of 1 minute or 2 minutes, no other person is allowed to enter. So how it works? See now. So compare function is there. This is a comparison function. Expected, sorry, what you called, what you expected, and new value. Okay, what you called, what you expect, and new value. See here, what you called is for locking, what you expect is 0, and who has come is 1. That's a senior citizen has come. Because if it is 0, you would have expected as whatever you have called, that person has come. Okay, so here different person is there, that's a senior citizen. Then what you will do, once the senior citizen come as a counter representative, we will lock the counter. Up to what? We will lock the counter. So lock is 1. Okay, lock for 1. Whose number is 1? The number 1 is senior citizen. We will apply the lock and we will give him a service. Next point. So here I will change like this. Whatever you have expected, okay, leave about this. Expected number is 0 and new person is also 0. Expected number is 0 and new person is also 0. Means what? Both are same. What you called, who has arrived, both are same. Then what happens? Then also you will lock. Now slight different way of explanation. Okay, what I could do here is in the textbook it's not equal, so let me make it as equal. Very simple way. What you are expecting, token number 50, and the token number 50 person has come. So what you will do, you will apply the lock and make him the work. Okay, so if I mention here not equal, so person whatever who has called and arrived are not matching, because comparison not matching. So then what we have to do, we have to do it as 0, because lock should not be applied. I have to send 100th token number, because he is not a senior citizen also. Okay, so what I have to do, I have to send him back and I have to allow only the the person with token number 50. If that person comes correctly, then only I have to make lock 1. So when it should be lock 0, when here if I make this simple, hope you will understand. 100, you are expecting token 50, token 100, both are of same age. Same age means both can wait. It is not like one side boy and one side old or a senior citizen. So both are same. 100 has come. We are expecting both equal, but this time both are not equal, so I will not apply the lock. I will let this to cancel and I will allow only exact number to come. If exact number comes, then I will make this as 1. That means lock applied and given the work done by the exact fellow, to exact fellow. Okay, so thank you. This is one part, slight difficult. So in the next class or the next video we will continue some more concepts related to the process synchronization. Okay.